Rick, welcome. It's good to talk to you today.
Thank you.
It's a very special time of the year for all of us, celebrating love, celebrating so much, and you have so much to celebrate as well. I want to talk a little bit about orchestrating my life, because I really, as someone who loves music and has loved your music for a long, long time, and sees, beyond, I have my keyboard sitting behind me. I play piano and have since I was a little kid. I love the part of music where you're taking something that you've created and totally expanding it to an orchestration. I'm so curious about that. And I want to learn a little bit more about how it all came together. But first of all, Rick, 40 years of Working Class Dog. I mean, do you sometimes look back and just say, wasn't that just yesterday we were putting this thing together? Or how does it feel for you now?
It doesn't feel like 40 years for sure. 40 years, wow. I was like 30, I guess, 30 something. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. It's I kind of measure things by my kids' age, really, how fast my kids are growing up. But I guess to a degree, an album is one of your creations is like your kids. But it's weird. It doesn't feel like it at all. I mean, it feels like maybe I'd say 15.
Yeah. Did you have that moment when you were putting Working Class Dog together and putting the final touches on the album, final mixes, starting to talk to the label, starting to talk to promotion people, saying, oh, I think this is going to be something really special? Did that hit you at the time?
Yeah, when we were recording it, I felt like we definitely, I'd written the right songs at last. But it was, the record company didn't really know what to do with the record when it was done. We all felt it was something really unique, or it certainly had a good shot. But the record company kept sitting on the record. They didn't know, they'd say we're going to release it here, and then they cancel that and say we'll release it in a couple of months. And so they kept sitting on it because they didn't really know what to do with a guitar-based album when disco and ballads was they were going out, but they were still dominating the radio. And so that's why I took General Hospital, because in the end, I didn't think they were going to release it. I thought it was, I'd had 3 albums out before then and nothing had happened. So I thought this was just another one. This is going to go the same way as the previous albums I recorded. So I took General Hospital just, because I needed money, basically.
You are a working class dog after all, right? We've all got to earn a living here, so.
Yep. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
What was the time frame, if you can think back, of, okay, I'm on General Hospital, I take this character of Dr. Noah Drake, and then everybody from the label comes around and says, oh, hey, by the way, let's go. Was it all simultaneous?
No, they finally put the record out just as I was starting on General Hospital, and they didn't know I was on General Hospital, and General Hospital didn't know I was a musician. So it was, and then they started to kind of come together, and they wanted. I had my dog on the album cover, Working Class Dog. I had my dog Ronnie on the cover with a shirt and tie, and a photo of me on the back, which they initially didn't want, but I kind of pushed it. I didn't want another photo of me on the front. I'd had that in the last 3 albums, and it hadn't helped. So I wanted to do something different. And then they flipped the cover around because they said, well, you're on TV, on a big TV show. We got to put your face on the cover. So they flipped the cover and everybody complained. So they flipped it back. So there's like, I don't know, there were 5,000, 6,000 albums that went out with the cover flipped. As they found out that I was on the show, and as the show became more popular, and then Jessie's Girl had a real slow climb up the charts. I mean, I think it was on the charts for almost a year, just through the climb. It was a very slow climb. I was kind of biting my nails for a while, and until it finally hit #1. But it was they just kind of, once people started to link the two up, it kind of was it took off. But it was a double-edged sword. There was a lot of what they called AOR stations at the time playing Jessie's Girl because it was guitar based, and they liked the song. Since they found out I was on a soap opera, they thought, oh, this guy's not for real, and they'd stop playing Jessie's Girl. So that was kind of a bummer for me because I've been a musician since I was 14 years old, and for them to finally crack the top 40 and and have people kind of dismiss me as a, you know, like a some guy, soap guy that someone had taken into the studio and helped to sing in tune for 3 minutes, you know.
Just a pretty boy or something like that.
It was a bit depressing, but you know, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It was good and bad.
Yeah. So you get Jesse's Girl up and running, and it takes a long time. It must have felt, that album title of Working Class Dog, it must have felt like, hey, serendipity is here. Like, I am in the middle of this. I titled this thing the right way because, man, I got a grind on my hands. Did you ever feel like it was going to stall, or it wasn't going to go all the way for you? Or was it just an inner belief of, I've got it here? Where was your head at?
I've always believed in myself. I think that's been really my strong suit is perseverance and pigheadedness and I, you know, just to stay over here I came over in 1971 from Australia, and to stay here for 9 years with nothing really happening, just, you know, moderate success here and there and a couple of TV shows and that. You know, I had friends from Australia who came over and kind of got discouraged very quickly and went home, but I was determined to stay here until something happened. So I was very excited just to see it on the charts. I hadn't had a record on the charts for a long time. And it was exciting to go out and play and actually get a reaction rather than just, you know.
Yeah, a golf clap.
Yeah. So it was great and very exciting time for sure.
Is there a question that you get asked every single time the most, and you're like, stop asking this question, and why is it about Jesse's Girl and who Jessie really is, or who the girl really is?
That's the question for sure. Yeah. I guess everyone wants to know, you know, it's one of those mysteries. You know, you hear about songs and the women that inspired them, or whatever, the guys that inspired them, and I guess it's making a song more real when people get invested in the song. Like My Sharona, Doug Feiger was a friend of mine from the Knack, and he actually started dating Sharona after the song came out. So you know, and all the Beatles songs, you know, what all those women that they wrote their songs about. And Jessie's Girl was kind of disappeared into the land of myth. I mean, they tried to find her. Oprah tried to find her. I met her at a stained glass class. The girl in 1979. I was learning to make stained glass because I didn't think I was going to have a record career. So I thought I could support my family with my stained glass mastery, which was fairly insane. But anyway, so Oprah went back and found the guy. It was in Pasadena. He died 2 years before, and they'd thrown all his paperwork out a year after that. So she missed it by a year. And I, you know, I mean, no one's ever come up to me and said I was Jesse's Girl, right? And I'd recognize her if she did. But yeah, it's I think unless something happens, you've certainly been out there long enough for someone to go, you know what, I think that's me.
Yeah.
No one's come up to me, so, you know, maybe it's just going to be myth.
Stained glass, that's such an interesting, I guess today we would call it a side hustle, or the sort of thing that you were thinking, maybe this is my thing if this doesn't all work out. Why stained glass? What was it about it for you?
I was out of my mind, basically. Didn't want a real job. Yeah, I don't know. I love art. You know, I always tried to be creative with my hands, sculpting and, you know, making stuff out of clay. I used to make mirrors out of clay, Martian mirrors and sci-fi stuff, and sell them at the Rose Bowl for like I don't know, for $7, $8. I've always loved that idea of arts and crafts, and I thought I could. I don't know. I just got this idea I'd always loved stained glass, and it was a fortuitous class. I was a really crappy stained glass maker, but fortunately I was an okay songwriter, so I got something out of it.
Maybe that's a lesson in all of us. Maybe that class or that thing that we're trying to do during the midst of the pandemic, maybe it's not the thing, but maybe the thing leads to the thing, you know?
There's always a thing leading to the thing. I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer also in in letting go at some point. You know, I wanted to write hit songs all my life, and I think the moment I let go of that crushing desire, you know, it all started to come together. And there's this Zen thing of chasing the butterfly, and it always escapes you, but when you stand still, it lands on your head.
If you're just joining us, Rick Springfield is with us. We've been talking about 40th anniversary of Working Class Dog, the My Life, orchestrating My Life stream that is happening, and that is going to be happening and streaming again this coming weekend. Final question that I have for you has to do with this new, you've worked alongside Sammy Hagar, and you guys have been buddies for a long, long time. Co-wrote, of course, I Do Anything for You, but making rum together. I mean, Sammy's been doing tequilas for so long. You had to step your toe in. Why rum, and how that come together with him?
Well, you know, I mean, I met Sammy back in 1980 when I recorded the song, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And I wanted to get in the liquor business, and the opportunity came up with the rum, Beach Bar Rum, and I tried it, and it's incredible. I mean, I never thought of myself as a rum drinker, but Sammy, he's a great entrepreneur. I mean, apart from all his musical stuff, he's an incredible entrepreneur. And you know, when he did the tequila, he went to Mexico and found the right plants and everything, and he did the same with the rum. It's all about his vision of the tastes. And there's a macadamia nut, which is incredible. There's a cola spiced, and there's a platinum white rum, and there's a new one coming out called pineapple, the pineapple flavor. And it's just he's got a gift for this kind of thing. And I said, yeah, I'm on board, dude, totally. So we've done a couple of concerts together. We were planning to do some before COVID hit, but we will do some afterwards, just kind of to help promote it, because we love it, and we're friends, and we're both musicians. So why not, you know, go out and have fun promoting it rather than, you know, doing it as a chore. I mean, make it a great fun thing, because the alcohol it's party time. You know?
Exactly. Real quick, if we're gonna pick up some of the Beach Bar Rum, how do we make Rick Springfield's favorite cocktail, you know, in a nutshell?
Well, there's a Jessie's Girl drink.
Oh, there is,
yeah, which I don't have the recipe, but there is a recipe online on rickspringfield.com, and I'm sure there's a Beach Bar Rum site that has it too. It's incredible. It's uses 2 of the rums and a couple of other ingredients, and a great bartender in Vegas came up with it, and it's actually really, really incredible.
Thank you, especially this week, as there's so much going on in the world today. Just sharing the love that you share through your music, through your entrepreneurship, and through working with all those kids as well. What a great endeavor to be a part of, and having them a part of your live stream. So, Rick, thank you so much for being a part of the show here today. Happy Valentine's.
You too.